Escape from Alcatraz has been on my to-watch list for such a long time. I finally got around to watching it, and while I think it's decent, I don't think it's as good as I was led to believe. At the time of recording, it has an IMDb rating of 7.5 out of 10. That's across 165,000 reviews and ratings. It has a Metascore of 76. Both of those are very, very impressive. And I think it's a pretty average film. This was released in 1979. It's directed by Don Siegel and is written by Richard Tuggle based on the book by J. Campbell Bruce, with a cast including Clint Eastwood, Patrick McGoohan, Robert Blossom, and various others. And this is based on The Prison Escape by Frank Morris and John and Clarence Anglin in 1962. Definitely a story with which I was familiar. I've read quite a bit about it. I'm by no means an expert, but it wasn't a brand new topic for me, and that's why I was really interested in watching this. And credit where it's due, the atmosphere throughout the entire film is great, and there is a lot that I can praise, and I will do that, but the pacing is terrible. Nothing happens for such a long time. Now, thankfully, because the atmosphere is great and it is quite immersive, it does make it a little bit more engaging, but still the story is so stagnant for such a long time. The build-up is very slow, and while it does improve, I don't think it delivers the events later on in the film in a way that's overly engaging. It's not one of those films where it takes a long time to get anywhere, but it's absolutely worth it. It was all just a little bit flat. So the story is only slightly interesting because it's based on truth. Had this been a work of fiction, honestly, it would have been pretty terrible. Really slow narrative and ultimately not that exciting. But because we know it's based on truth, and if you've read a little bit about it, you can at least see certain things being visualized in certain ways. And yeah, it's okay. But at the same time, it's not that interesting. It's not that engaging. It does get better over time, but it never really delivers anything that spectacular apart from the atmosphere. It is very, very immersive. And what is interesting is that it was filmed, at least in part, in Alcatraz. So that part of it, again, is really fascinating. It's really interesting to look at and to absorb the atmosphere. But as a story, I don't think it's well handled at all. I don't think it tells the story in a way that's engaging or fascinating. Had this been my introduction to the story, I may never have read anything else about it. I mean, that's probably not true. I probably would have read other things about it because it's still an interesting story, but not the way it's presented here at all. The characters are interesting enough though, and since there is little action, we do get to spend quite a bit of time with the characters, getting to know them, and that does work well enough. Not enough to save the film, but credit where it's due. I think we do get a good sense of the characters, their personalities, what makes them tick, and yeah, that's okay. The camera work and lighting are very good, as is the use of sound, and great performances as well. So the story needs a lot of work with the way it's paced in the film, with the way it's presented. But I'd say everything else is very well done. Visually, it's brilliant, very atmospheric, strong character writing, great performances, really good use of sound. I have no issues with anything other than the fact that the story, in my opinion, is not told in a way that's engaging or exciting. There's not a lot of suspense building. It's not very dramatic. When things do happen, it just feels very mundane. It's not very emotional in any way either. I just felt nothing except boredom for pretty much the entire film. And this is a really fascinating story, and I just don't think they handled it well at all. I would say it's an average film. I don't think it's a film that's worth 7.5 out of 10, not in the slightest. But if you're curious, I'd say give it a go. There are a lot of things that have been done very, very well, but unfortunately the story, in my opinion, has not been handled in the best way at all.